Avast ye briny bilge rats and salty sea words. Hold on to your pirate booty, for today we be exploring thar 10 most interesting facts about Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, yar. I once had a fling with a girl called Black Pearl. Lovely girl. Deep voice, big hands. Okay, that pirate voice has run its course. Now it's time to raid and rob all night and parlay every day. So quit shivering your timber and perk up your buccaneers because the countdown starts now. Number 10. It was almost made by Spielberg in the 90s. In the mid-1990s, mega director-producer Steven Spielberg heard a screenplay based on Pirates of the Caribbean was being shopped around Hollywood. Spielberg was intrigued because Pirates is his favorite Disneyland attraction. He liked the script and bought it through his production company, Amblin Entertainment. Spielberg then went to Disney, who shockingly said, thanks but no thanks. That's right. The biggest director in history, fresh off of Schindler's List and Jurassic Park, brought Disney a cinematic map to buried treasure, and they said, go walk the plank. As we know, Disney would go on to make a Pirates film eventually, with an entirely different script and director. Other film projects rejected by Disney over the years include Bill Cosby and Sleeping Beauty's Castle, and R. Kelly's Splash Mountain. Number 9. It was not the first Disney movie based on a ride. Most movie fans will be aware of late 2003's Haunted Mansion, which starred the ghost of Eddie Murphy's career. 2015's Tomorrowland, which stars George Clooney's smug self-satisfaction, and the upcoming Jungle Cruise, which will star The Rock and Eddie Redmayne. But you may be unaware that there are films based on Disneyland attractions that predate Curse of the Black Pearl. The first was the TV movie Tower of Terror, which aired in 1997. 2000's Mission to Mars was based on the Tomorrowland attraction of the same name. Then in 2002 came The Country Bears, a bizarre fever dream of a film that could be described as the Muppet version of the Blues Brothers. The film was not surprisingly a commercial failure. Number 8. An accident on location caused a boat to sink. No, it wasn't one of the massive ships. I doubt it was even in the movie. But it was a potentially dangerous situation that I'm sure gave those involved quite a scare. When returning from a night shoot on one of the Caribbean islands, a boat carrying Keira Knightley and her mother struck a reef and went down. The only other person aboard was the boat's skipper. Thankfully, all 3 escaped unharmed. The incident inspired the crew to cancel any further island night shoots, which would instead be filmed in a studio. Number 7. Zoe Saldana didn't enjoy her time making the movie. Some may not remember Zoe Saldana was in Curse of the Black Pearl. She played the part of Anna Maria, who confronts Jack Sparrow for stealing her boat, then joins his crew when Will Turner promises her the Interceptor in exchange for help in taking back the Black Pearl. Saldana said of her time on the film, "Those weren't the right people for me. I'm not talking about the cast was great. I'm talking about the political stuff that went on behind closed doors. It was a lot of above the line versus below the line, extras versus actors, producers versus PAs. It was very elitist. I almost quit the business." Yikes. Of course, Saldana did not quit the business, going on to star in the Star Trek reboot films and the Guardians of the Galaxy. And the entertainment industry is no longer elitist or political. Number 6. It was almost made as a straight-to-video movie. Before Disney decided to make Curse of the Black Pearl as a big-budget theatrical film, they considered making it a straight-to-video release. For the youngins in the audience, before straight to Netflix, there was straight to DVD. Before that, there was straight to video. And before that, there was made for TV, which the elderly and infirm watch to this very day. Disney's early considerations for bargain bin Jack Sparrow were Lover of Cowbell Bruce Dickerson, Dread Pirate Wesley, and the Fred who may or may not drop dead. Number 5. Keira Knightley was only 17 at the time of filming. Despite her youth, Knightley already had numerous film and television credits to her name, including Star Wars Episode I The Phantom Menace and Bend It Like Beckham. Other actresses considered for the role include Amanda Bynes, who would have been 16 at the time, and Jamie Alexander, who would have been 18. Jessica Alba was also considered, but she would have been like 21. Gross. Maybe she could have played Elizabeth Swann's mom or something. Oh wait, her mom's dead. Good call. The last thing you want is some actress on set who's old enough to have a 17-year-old daughter. Ugh. Wait, isn't Keira Knightley running around in a wet dress with her nips pointing out for an entire sequence? And there was a special team of makeup artists assigned to pad Knightley's chest and paint on her cleavage, so the soggy fun bags were no oversight. Now that's what I call family entertainment. Number 4. The film ended the pirate movie curse. Ever since Swashbuckler bombed in 1976, pirate movies have had a bad track record at the box office. The Pirate Movie from 1982, Savage Islands 1983, and Yellowbeard, also 1983, and Pirates 1986 all did terribly at the box office. Although with bland generic titles like The Pirate Movie and Pirates, is it any wonder no one wanted to see them? Would Die Hard have been a successful film if it was called The Terrorist Movie? Or what if Lethal Weapon was called Two Cops? The beloved Princess Bride, which had pirate elements, didn't find success until it reached the home market. Even the 1991 film Hook performed worse than expected. The notorious bomb Cutthroat Island followed in 1995. The media had low expectations for Pirates of the Caribbean leading up to its release. This would of course mark the last time the media was collectively wrong. Notably, the 2003 film Peter Pan, which released 2 months after Curse of the Black Pearl, was another commercial failure. Maybe there is a pirate curse. Number 3. It was influenced by The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Many actors were considered for the part of Will Turner, including Jude Law, Ewan McGregor, Tobey Maguire, and Christian Bale. Eventually it came down to Orlando Bloom and Heath Ledger. The director Gore Verbinski ultimately decided to go with Bloom because he heard he was in The Lord of the Rings. Verbinski wanted to attract that newly formed Orlando Bloom fan base. What do you call an Orlando Bloom fan? A bloomer? In another move potentially inspired by Lord of the Rings, Curse of the Black Pearl was added to the title in hopes of sequels. When the growing budget of the film was scrutinized, producer Jerry Bruckheimer pointed to Lord of the Rings as an example of what they had to compete with. Also, the first trailer was attached to The Two Towers. Number 2. Michael Eisner had little faith in the film during production. If it wasn't apparent by now, some folks at Disney weren't predicting that Pirates would be a big hit. Pirates was championed by then Walt Disney Studios chairman Dick Cook. Cook was behind the idea of making movies based on theme park attractions. When it was decided to go big budget theatrical, Cook brought on producer Jerry Bruckheimer and director Gore Verbinski. But when Country Bears flopped, then CEO Michael Eisner wanted to cancel Pirates outright. But seeing what Verbinski's concept artist had come up with stayed the axe. Eisner quibbled with Bruckheimer over the budget and was not a fan of Johnny Depp's portrayal of the lead character. He also demanded that some of the more overt references to the ride be taken out of the film. However, upon seeing the finished film, he must have been pretty happy because Pirates became the first film ever to premiere at Disneyland. Eisner would retire as CEO in 2005, and no studio executive ever micromanaged a film project again. Number 1. Robert De Niro turned down the role of Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay, so maybe this isn't really the number 1 fun fact about Pirates of the Caribbean, but I did want to close by talking about Johnny Depp's performance, which I think is the most memorable thing about the film. It makes sense that Disney would want a big star to headline their big movie, but De Niro was aware of the history of pirate movies flopping and passed on the part. Other actors considered include Michael Keaton and Jim Carrey, but it would of course be Depp who would win the part, and his enthusiastic efforts really brought the character to life. He had some wacky ideas that didn't pan out, like having Jack be missing his nose and afraid of catching cold. But other contributions like his improvised lines, gold teeth, and rock star-inspired swagger became trademarks of the character. The film would revitalize Depp's career and earn him a Screen Actors Guild Award and an Oscar nomination. De Niro would eventually play a pirate captain in the enjoyable 2007 fantasy film Stardust, and Depp would go on to star in every movie Tim Burton offers him. And that was the 10 most interesting facts about Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, my personal favorite film of the franchise. Are you hoping for a new pirate film in the near future? Let me know in the comments section. Please subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and hit the bell symbol if you want to be notified when my next video comes out. Thank you.